Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to David Ellefson's Rock Shop, where we talk about all things music and all things rock. Today, we're going to continue with the little bit of tech talk here on the gear. We've changed strings. We've gone through some of that. And, you know, now having a proper setup and an intonation is huge. Lots of instruments come from the factory. Some of them are set up, some of them aren't. And by a setup, I mean making sure that your instrument is in tune as you go up and up the neck and across the neck. And you can really notice it when you play chords. So even though I've had techs and many professionals have technicians who set their instruments up, even a technician is going to set their instrument up kind of to their own liking, especially if they happen to be a player. Over the years, as I've gone in and worked on sessions and even touring, and especially now playing in a lot of different tunings, every time you change right now I'm tuned at A440, which is the standard tuning that most instruments were designed to be played in. But in this day and age, we're all tweaking it and dropping, going down into down to the drop tunings. Sometimes we're taking the entire instrument, dropping it down a half step, and then even dropping one of the strings out from there. So there's all kinds of different tunings that really affect the way that our instrument is set up. So simply put, if you get a tuner, and I like to use the Peterson Strobo Stomp Tuner, which is really a great piece of equipment, especially for bass, because you can mute it with a simple foot switch, or you have to use it as a bypass. So what you do here, technically, generally for setup here, is you hit the note at the harmonic at the 12th fret, and then you finger it at the 12th fret, and it should be the same. It should be in tune. Now, the way to do that, of course, is you use your tuner. Mine's actually the note happens to be slightly flat, so we're going to bring it up. But then when I finger it, it actually is also at the same pitch. In my case, the strobe's not moving, the wheel's not moving, so it's in tune. But if it were the case that it was, say, slightly sharp, what you need to do then is you take a screwdriver back here to the saddle, which is usually a Phillips. And what you want to do is you want to move the saddle back to essentially lengthen the string. Think of it in terms of a piano. The short strings are higher pitched, the longer strings are the lower pitch. So if it happens to be sharp, the fretted note happens to be sharp from the harmonic, you're going to want to lengthen. In fact, I'll even do it right here. You're going to want to lengthen that so that the saddle moves back slightly. And by the same token, if you hit the harmonic and the fretted note happens to be flat, then you want to shorten that distance. So you want to move the saddle forward. Now that, of course, is going to change the pitch. You're going to want to retune again. And then from there, anytime also that you change the actual height of the string, you're going to, usually it's done with a little hex or Allen key. There's a slight little knobs in here for where you tweak those, and you can raise and lower the string height. Now, that goes hand in hand with also the curvature of the neck. A really flat neck, and I put just a little bit of a bow in mine, because I like to be able to dig in and especially if I'm playing with a pick. I want to be able to dig in and really play on it. So I put a little bit of some relief in there rather than having it flat. And so one of the things you can do is just look down the side of it, and I can actually see a little bit of a bow. You can even do it on this side as well. And there's a little bit of a bow about right here in the middle of the neck. And if you want your neck to be straighter, which will essentially give the impression of lowering your action, because the strings are going to come down closer to the actual fingerboard. On this bass, I have it set up so that there's a truss rod adjustment. There's a rod that goes all the way down the neck. It's underneath the fingerboard. And the whole point of that is that as you tighten and loosen that, it will adjust the neck. it'll either, as you tighten it, it'll actually create bow, so that the neck will bow more like this. And as you as you loosen it up, it's going to get rid of some of that relief. So whether most truss rods are actually up here, and I like that this one happens to be down here, just so I can easily get in here and tweak that. But that's going to go hand in hand with the height of the string, which again you can adjust here. But before you get all crazy trying to adjust your bridge, take a look down the neck and see what it looks like. The other way to do that is you can basically take a finger and put it on the 12th fret, for instance, and you can take your other finger and put it up here on the 5th fret, or even down on the 3rd fret. And you should be able to see a little bit of air in between the string and the frets. And that'll give you an idea of how much relief you have in your neck there. You can do that across all the strings. And that's a neck issue. That has nothing to do with back here. So going to certainly a professional who knows how to set up, tune intonations is certainly a good idea. But take some cues and learn from them, because lots of times you're going to be on a gig, you're going to be playing, you have to change a string, and you're going to have to work. Oftentimes I've found I've been in the studio playing something, and while I'm down here, the bass is in tune, and then all of a sudden I go up here to, to the top, and it's out of tune. So I got to quickly grab my tools and start tweaking and working on the intonation. And again, it's doing the 12th fret harmonic versus the 12th fret note. And then sometimes I need to I'll be in the studio, or if I've had a bass in the closet for a long time and I pulled it out, all of a sudden there'll be a fret that's buzzing, and usually adjusting the relief in the neck will take care of that. Of course, you can go to professional and they can do a level crown and polish on the fret, because sometimes a little fret will pop out, or they start to wear unevenly, and those kind of things I like to usually take into a professional shop so they can fix them. But anyway, there's a lot of little things we can do ourselves to just keep our instruments maintained and keep them up to speed. And keep in mind the climate that you're in. I live in Arizona, very dry. So as you're using any type of guitar polishes and things like that to be cleaning your instrument, there's always been a warning against using Windex on your instrument. And a lot of most guitar instrument manufacturers make certain polishes and things. And just be careful of what you're using with those, because some of them are meant to just kind of clean over, and then a nice soft cloth, and clean over, keep the instrument looking nice. And then there's other types of cleaners that are designed to go into the fingerboard and to really clean your fingerboard up. But be careful which ones you're using, especially rosewood, which tends to be a very porous wood, can start to suck up a lot of, you're going to have sweat, you're going to have a lot of those kind of things on your fingerboard just from playing. So be careful with the type of solvents and cleaners that you use, that you don't damage that. And again, keep in mind the humidity level that you're in. If you're in a very humid part of the world, or if you're in a very dry part of the world, that can also affect the wood on your instrument. So anyway, hopefully those tips will help you out. Thanks for stopping in to David Ellefson's Rock Shop.